Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Andrew. Andrew is from Brighton in the UK. So let's see what Andrew has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello Andrew.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Very good, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's been lovely to be invited, so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Amazing. Andrew, so how's your day been so far? Long day?
Yeah, fairly. It's been quite busy. Just the normal 9 to 5 grind and all that kind of stuff. And but it's a beautiful day out here today. So I'm based in Brighton, so it's stunning here today. So after this interview, I'm going to be popping out for a few beers with some friends and doing a quiz and trying to get a bit of the sunshine on my skin as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my God, amazing. So you live in Brighton, close to the beach. My goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That's where you've been raised and you were born there?
No. So I moved here 5 months ago. We're from Suffolk way. So just kind of, I guess, above London, I think, Suffolk, near like Norfolk. So lived there our whole lives and then moved here. Me and my husband moved here in November. And we absolutely love it. It's just it's our place. It's very bohemian. There's a really big LGBTQIA presence here, which is amazing. And it's just fun. It's just there's so much going on. It's Fringe Festival at the moment as well, so there's so much kind of activities, and absolutely love it.
And why Brighton?
I think probably because of the queer presence here. There's so much support for our community. I think, as well, it's a great city. I mean, there's so much going on. We're right near the sea. So you've kind of got the best of both worlds. You've got like the kind of buzz of the city life with the restaurants and the bars and the shops and like Fringe festivals going on at the moment. So there's so much to do. But then you're a 5-minute walk to the beach and you've got all the lovely bars down there and the restaurants and the beautiful beach and the sea, and it's just I think it's just a more relaxed kind of gentle way of life really compared to what we're used to. So we keep pinching ourselves. We're not over it yet, to be honest.
And what do you do for a living, Andrew?
So I work in HR. So I work in the corporate world. So I'm an HR business partner for a corporate company, and I've been doing that for about 11 years, which is cool. And then in the background, as you probably know, I'm creating a podcast at the moment, so which I'm really excited about. So that's kind of underway at the moment. I'm recording at the studio and got some great guests. I'm thinking about promotion and all that kind of stuff, and so there's a lot going on in my head at the moment, but it's all good fun. It feels like it's a nice thing to be doing, to be honest.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your podcast, Queer I Am Podcast. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so when I moved here, I mean, one thing I'd say about this city is there's so much kind of going on, but actually everyone's incredibly positive. If you want to try something and you say, I've got an idea, I'd like to, write a book or record a song or do a podcast, people are like, go for it. That's really great. Have a go. And so I was immediately taken back when I first moved here, just around the positivity from people that I met, just talking about some ideas that I had. And I've always loved kind of the media, and there's always been kind of a bit of I guess I'm quite nosy, so it's quite a dream job for me to just talk to people and have good conversations and find out about what's going on in their lives and their stories really. So, and I think Queer I Am for me is actually the name came from a song that I love called Here I Am, which I'm sure I won't get sued for copyright here or anything, but so I'm a really big Melanie C Spice Girls fan, and she has a song called Here I Am, and it's a really powerful dance song. It's just real positive words and lyrics, and her whole album that she brought out about 18 months ago really resonated with me. So that song was a real kind of, fist in the air, we can do this, we're feeling good, that kind of energy. And I guess Queer I Am, aside from it linking to the song I love, was also about what it was mainly about for me, I guess, just celebrating who we are as queer people. We have such interesting stories to tell and such diverse stories to tell as well. And our community is amazing. And I think that it's only as I've got older that I've really truly appreciated that, and appreciated how lucky I am to be a part of the community. So for me, it's about having great conversations with people, celebrating our queer history, learning about each other, and just being allies and supports for each other as well. So the podcast is going really well. I've spoken to some amazing people so far, and I'm hoping that people will get a lot from it. It's certainly been, it's interesting because when I've been having the conversations, it's kind of gone in different directions that I hadn't planned. So you can write a script, you can have conversations around how things are going to go, or have a plan around how the conversation is going to go. But then you start talking about something and it goes off to another, a field that you hadn't thought about, and then you have another conversation, and it's just, that's been the same for everyone so far. So it surprised me, and hopefully the people that listen to it will get a lot from it as well.
Amazing. I'm sure they will. I'm sure it's something.
Yeah,
I can see your eyes shining talking about it. I can see.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I do. It's my baby. It's kind of, sorry to move my camera a bit. It's my baby. It's just kind of, I guess when you, and doing this, when you invest time into something, it becomes super important, doesn't it? And it's, I want it to do well. But I think for me, doing well is not just about, commercially. Like, of course, I would love it to be a success and lots of people to listen to it. But for me, it's just that sense of achievement. It's like, I know that when this goes out, there's going to be some good work there. And that's what I'm super proud of. So if nothing comes of it, but, I have 20 listeners and they all go, well done, that was great, I know I've done a good job. But hopefully it will be successful. We'll see. Oh, sorry. I just hit my desk. Sorry about that.
I'm sure it will. I think when you put so much love, power, so much passion, so much tears, so much, hard work in there, for sure. You know what I mean? People, even though they don't know you, but I'm sure they're going to feel the passion there. And you know what I mean? That things, I'm sure, go the right direction. So yeah, when there are passion involved, that's it. I think people can feel it.
Absolutely.
I think can feel it and to go in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Right. So are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about this. It's going to be good.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Full of wonderful questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, Andrew, so just before we start the game, for the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay?
Okay, super. Yeah, lovely.
First question for you is, what do you like the most in your best friends?
I think real people. Like, I think frenemies doesn't work. If you've got good friends in your life, they have to be real, and you have to be able to have good conversations and be open and celebrate each other, and also be understanding. I think, like, if you can't make an appointment or you have to change a plan, a friend, I think, really will understand because they're flexible. So that's, I think that would be my thoughts on that.
And your best friends, they live as well in Brighton, or they live in different places?
Well, I think I'm very lucky because one of my best friends is my husband, so I'm very lucky in that regard. But I've got some best friends, like really old friends that live back in Suffolk, where I'm from, and we speak often on FaceTime and that kind of stuff. And then I've been really lucky that I've made some really lovely friends here in Brighton as well. And there's two in particular that I've made, and they are just wonderful. Like, we have such lovely conversations, and I'm learning so much from them after such a short amount of time. And I think that's because we're so open and honest with each other as friends. So I think that's incredibly important.
Talking about learning and best friends, so far, what's the most beautiful lesson you learned from your husband?
Wow. Crikey, that's a hard one. I think communication is a big one, because I think we've been together 17 years this year, so I know I didn't look old enough. I know. So I think for me, it's kind of like, life changes, we change, we grow, the world changes, your days, so I think when you have a relationship, you have to really communicate, and you have to make sure that you talk about things and you understand things. And sometimes you don't always agree, but if you kind of have that intention behind of, always being committed to that, I do think that it helps a great deal. And I think that's probably why we've been together for so long, because we've always communicated and talked about our feelings, and you know, and I don't always get it right, you know, that's life, isn't it? You know, we're human. But if you have good intentions behind your communications, I think that will definitely stand you in good stead for a longevity in a relationship. Definitely.
I totally agree, Andrew. I think communication is the main key of a relationship. You need to be open to the person you are sharing your life with. This is the basic thing. How can you share your life with someone that you cannot communicate with? So I think that's the main key to get a relationship so far as yours. My goodness, amazing.
Yeah. And not being afraid of saying things that maybe you don't want to say. Like sometimes I think as humans, we all we worry about how things will sound and, you know, whether things will be misinterpreted and that kind of stuff. And I think that if you can have good, clean communication where you are just saying, this is how I'm feeling today, can we talk about it? That will help. And that's definitely a lesson that I've learned over the years. Absolutely.
Amazing. Next question.
Okay.
Andrew, before the next question, tell me, what do you like the most about your job? And of course, there's always a challenge part as well. What that would be?
So the one thing I really love about my job is that I have kind of autonomy over what I need to do. So my job can be really busy sometimes. It can be really involved, and I get to kind of like run my own diary, and you know, I have autonomy to be able to get on with it, and that means a lot to me because I think it's about trust. So I love that, and I love working from home as well. I have to say that's probably the best thing to come out of the pandemic is the flexibility that we now have in life. We definitely wouldn't have moved to Brighton without COVID because it just completely reshaped everything for us, and it gave us the flexibility to move our jobs and all sorts. So we've been very lucky in that respect. But obviously I appreciate as well that COVID has been horrendous for a lot of people as well. You know, so it's not all good news, but for us certainly that has been a good outcome. The challenge I think sometimes is what's the challenge? That I have to work, if I'm honest. I'd quite like to be creative all day and be self-sufficient and make my podcast and do that as a full-time job. I mean, you know, I do love what I do, but my podcast and artistry and kind of being creative, that's my passion, I think. And I think as I'm getting older, I'm discovering that more. So I feel incredibly grateful for my job, but equally, if I could play around all day with my podcast and talk to people and do interviews, I'm sure you maybe feel the same. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, today I was talking to a friend about today. I said, oh my God, I wish I could just be 24 hours, just like focus on the channel, you know what I mean? But I think everything's part of the journey, you know what I mean? I was telling him the other day as well. Imagine if I had this idea through the first lockdown. Oh my goodness. If I had everything happening, what's happening right now during the first lockdown. Oh my goodness, I would have so much time that I could invest in. But anyway, everything comes in the right time, I believe. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good point. And also I think sometimes we have to appreciate what we do have. So I know that my job, I'm incredibly fortunate to have my job and to be able to live in the city I live in, which has opened doors to make the podcast. So without all of the stuff that kind of happens and without earning money to pay for the studio time and all that kind of stuff, you know, so you have to count your blessings, don't you? But we can dream.
Of course. Yeah, when you dream, things it comes together.
Manifest. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Next question is, how would you look like to be remembered in life?
How would I like to be remembered? Wow, God, these are really good questions. I think as someone that, oh God, wow, God, this is a really difficult one. Maybe just someone that loved and was happy and was kind and treated people well. I think people, it's that old saying, isn't it? People don't remember it's something like don't remember what you did, but they remember how you made them feel. And I think that's incredibly important. Like when you walk away from an interaction and someone feels good, I think that's an important thing. If you walk away from an interaction, either, you know, personally or someone else feels bad about a situation, that's always a bit rubbish, isn't it? So I think, just being able to be a good person and again, we're human. We don't always get it right. Sometimes you feel like, and that's kind of how it is. Sometimes it's just got to be how it is. But on the whole, I think that's probably how I would like to be remembered. And someone that had fun as well. Life's short, isn't it? You've got to enjoy yourself. Have fun.
Great. Very good point.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, Andrew from Brighton. Next question is, tell us about your guilt pleasure.
Ooh, guilty pleasure. Gin, probably. It's my recent one.
Wow.
Gin. I do. Partying. So I'm 37. Okay, and I think I've got a niece and nephew who are like 17 and 19, and they keep joking that I'm trying to regress back to their age because I'm out partying. Since we've moved here, there's just so much to do. So going out in the week for a drink with friends or doing the quiz or whatever. So the guilty pleasure then becomes like midweek drinking and gin, which I didn't really do before. But it's nice. It's, all in moderation, of course, I say, but not always. Yeah, that's probably my guilty pleasure. That and probably chocolate. I think I do like some chocolate.
I read once that people who loves chocolate, they are the happiest people in the world.
I can understand why. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you like having midnight snacks? Do you ever like wake up in the middle of the night and like feel a bit hungry and need something sweet?
Very good question, actually. I'm a bit. It's even worse. You know what? I have a habit sometimes before going to bed, have like a piece of muffin or something. I have a sweet tooth, so
Yeah.
you have no idea. Actually, I can show you something here in front of me.
Oh, amazing! Oh, Lindt bunnies are incredible. I love Lindt chocolate.
Like a friend gave to me. Actually, I don't know how I can handle it because do you know why I have this here? Because a friend of mine brought this for me, like a lot of chocolate from Romania, and I finished the whole thing today. In 2 days, I finished the whole thing. Anyway, so
it's easily done. It's easily done.
Yeah, so that's my. If I wake up in the middle of the night, no, I don't tend to go and eat something because I go to bed already with full stomach.
So I'll let you into a little secret. So last night I woke up, my husband was snoring, and I woke up and I was a bit like. I started to think about the cookies we had in the cupboard, and they just popped in my head, and I was like, "Ooh, that would be really nice with a glass of milk." So I sat there, like you hear the music like dun dun dun, and I was like, "I'm just going to do it." So I got up and I had 4 cookies and a glass of milk, and I think it's probably about 2 a.m. But I went to bed happy, and then I slept until 8 o'clock. So it's all good.
Yeah, I have this habit, and 10 years ago, my best friends, I remember we used to live together, and I made the mistake of eating this muffin before going to bed, and since until then now sometimes he goes like, do you still eat muffin before going to bed? I was like, no, I don't. Sometimes I eat chocolate, but it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or combine the two, have a chocolate muffin, it's all good.
Yeah, but I haven't had for a while muffin, you know what I mean? I just tend to go sweet. Anything sweet for me is always like my weakness, my good pleasure. Anyway,
nice.
Next question.
Okay.
Okay, before the next question, tell me what's the big inspiration for your podcast coming out now?
The biggest inspiration for it?
Yeah.
I think our community, our queer community. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've kind of, as I said earlier, I really appreciate our queer history and the journey that we've been on as a community. And I think that we all have a responsibility to learn and grow from the past, and but also respect and acknowledge the past as well. And I live a really fortunate life here in Brighton, but actually 30, 40 years ago, there were people that could never have imagined this life. So I think for me, it's about sharing stories, celebrating our community in all of its many facets, and being able to just have great conversations and spread good messages, really. And hopefully give people fun along the way, because I want it to be educational and interesting, but also fun, because I think it engages people that way. So yeah, I think the community is the big inspiration.
It's very interesting saying that, Andrew, because when I think about Brighton, I've been in England, in London for the last 17 years. When I think about Brighton, I always think about a gay city. I always had this impression. I don't know, because of the gay pride, it's quite popular. I don't know if it's because of that. And I've been a few times to the gay pride, and I felt free, know? And, so yeah, when I think about Brighton, I always have this think about, it's a gay point. It's a gay place.
It's the biggest gay city. I was kind of, I think it's called like the gay capital of the UK. It's kind of, and it is, I mean, it makes me buzz, for the excitement, the Kemp Town and the LGBT scene. Not even just Kemp Town. I mean, if you walk around the city, I'll give you an example. If you walk around the city, I can hold my husband's hand. I can give him a cuddle in the street. I see other people doing the same thing. And where I'm from, probably couldn't do that very much. And I think that whether you're in the community here as an LGBT kind of QIA person, or whether you are just living in Brighton, everyone seems really quite accepting and open. And I think that's amazing. So I think that it's definitely got a reputation as being a positive place. But just a very funky place as well. It's very, very cool here, I have to say. And some people walk past me sometimes and I see their outfits or what they're up to, and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is just my whole world has just expanded from being in this city. So but yeah, have you been to Pride here before?
Oh yes, I've been, I think 3-4 times, I think.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's amazing. I think this year it's in August this year, isn't it? It's in
August the 6th. Christina Aguilera is headlining this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this is like the first one in 3 years. I think it's the 30th anniversary as well, because it should have been a few years ago, but obviously because of COVID it didn't happen. So there's some amazing people performing. So yeah, come along.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm still there.
Yeah, we have a drink. We can have a drink, absolutely. Let's do it. Sure. That'd be great.
Next question is, what makes you very sentimental?
Music, probably. So I think like I listen to so many different, I don't know, artists or songs that remind me of the past or evoke a feeling of some kind. So I think that makes me feel quite sentimental. So an example, I remember sitting in my house kind of watching the music channel, and a song came on that came out when I was about 15, and I remember thinking, oh wow, I remember that time. I remember what I was doing, who I was hanging out with, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think music's got the power to do that. It can kind of transport you into a different world, really, can't it? So I definitely say that was my sentimental thing. Yeah,
it's amazing. And also as well, even though those music where brings you to some challenge or sad moments in your life, is even better. You feel the sadness in a better way, if you know what I mean.
Completely.
It's amazing. How can you? It's funny because you're feeling down, the music come on, but it's nice to hear it. It's nice to listen to it. It's nice. You know, it brings you there, but it's nice. I love it.
Do you know, there's so many songs and albums actually that I've listened to that have kind of, they do. You listen to a song and it takes you right back. And I've actually got tattoos on my arms because of songs. Like Melanie C is a big inspiration for me. I'm a really big Spice Girls fan, and I just think she's an incredible solo artist. And I've been lucky enough to see her in concert and stuff. And her album in 2020 that she released was just, it's like, it was a soundtrack to my feelings, I guess. So it just inspired so much growth and change. And it's really funny actually, because when you first listen to the album, it's all about, the whole album's about self-acceptance and about growing and accepting who you are. And the start of the album and then the finale, the last song was called The End of Everything. And it was really quite, I don't know, relevant, because actually my life completely changed a year later. We left the place we'd always lived. We moved somewhere else, and the lyrics were just very kind of, I don't know, they were very emotive to that whole time. So I think it's got the ability to kind of do that, really, hasn't it?
By the way, she's been on the show already, Magic Box, Milene C. She's been already here in the show.
Has she?
Yeah, look at your face. I'm joking.
Oh, she needs to. We need to make it happen.
Yes, and for sure we're gonna do like a video, you, me, and her. Imagine.
Oh my God. Well, I was really lucky actually, because obviously a great thing with COVID, like that's the wrong thing to say, but people had to be more creative during COVID because you couldn't do stuff. So she did a live stream concert, and she had a meet and greet beforehand. So I had a minute video call with her, and I got to speak to her and say hello, and I was beside myself. I was like, it was just, crazy.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Hopefully she's going to be watching this interview and she's going to go like, you know what? I want to be part of it as well.
Tag her, hashtag Melanie C and hashtag Team Sporty, and then you might get a view. You never know.
Oh my God. He's in the air now. He's in the universe.
Yeah, put it out there to the universe. And I'm wearing a sporty top as well. So it's kind of...
Goosebump.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Goosebump. Next question. Let's do it.
Okay.
Hey, Andrew, next question for you is, what is the best present have you ever received, and why you consider that? Best gift. Yeah.
My Pride dungarees that I got last year. They're on my Instagram. I put them on this week. So they're Levi dungarees. They're shorts and they're, with the straps and everything. And they've got rainbow buttons and a pride flag on the back. And they're really cool.
I saw it. You have your back as well, yeah?
Yeah. They are just, when I opened those, I got them for my birthday last year. And we were coming to Brighton for the weekend to celebrate my birthday before we moved here. And my husband bought them for me. And they're just hands down probably the best present I've ever received. Wow. I just think they're amazing. And I hope I never grow out of them. I need to make sure that I don't eat too much and I keep my weight in check so I can always I can wear them when I'm 70. That's I love them. They're amazing.
I think your husband, he gave you on purpose just for you to keep, on shape.
They are amazing. They're so cool. So yeah, I put a cheeky thing on Instagram the other day. I was like, Levi's, if you want to sponsor a podcast, I'm wearing your stuff. You never know. Dream it, it will happen.
Absolutely. Next one. Let's do it.
Hey.
Right. Before the next question, Andrew, as you can see how you are proud of being gay, you are very free spirit. You are yourself. Yeah. Did you always have the support of your family being gay? And when you came out, if you can share, did something happen, or you just felt like, okay, that's the day I'm gonna be myself. I wanna express the way I am, or it came naturally, genuinely, if you can share?
I think it's probably a mixture of things. So I probably always knew when I look back, because I think, queer people probably do generally, especially as you get older and you go through puberty and hormones and all that kind of stuff. I always knew that I felt very different. And then I started a job, I met a group of people, one of those people was gay, and I think I just kind of started to feel different in that moment. And it's almost like the things that I've been kind of putting to the back of my mind kind of came to the surface, not in a romantic way with him, but it was just very much kind of, I had a feeling of being different, and that felt good. And then I did meet someone, and then I kind of had a relationship of sorts, and I think I just knew that actually I needed to be myself, and or explore who I was. So I then it was really random. I went to my parents for a Sunday roast dinner. My mum had cooked like a big beef dinner kind of thing, and I remember just in the afternoon just thinking, I've just got to tell her, and I did, and yeah, and it was a very mixed reaction, I would say. I think that I don't know, I can't speak for my parents, because they have their own feelings on whatever, but we have a really super relationship now, and they love me and they love my husband very much. But I think at the time, my mum was probably just kind of, I don't know, worried and making sure that I was okay, and wanted to make sure that the world would treat me right and all that kind of stuff. And I think if I think about that now, and I'm doing a lot of kind of research on kind of queer history and things for the podcast, and just different conversations I'm happening, but that was 2004. So if you look back kind of 15 years prior to that, the media, the propaganda that was out there in terms of the AIDS and HIV epidemic, how gay people were treated in the press, the red top newspapers were not kind, and actually most households would have seen the adverts, that have seen the newspapers. So I think that unfortunately that means that people then have an impression in their mind, and they expect life to end up a certain way for people. And I think that my mum's view had to change. My parents' view had to kind of be a bit different, really. And I hope that over the years, through conversations and through life being as it is for us now, those impressions have changed. But I think the media and the government and all of that, and I know this is a bit political, but I think they all have a responsibility for probably a lot of people in my generation feeling how we felt, or having bad experiences, because there just wasn't the support there for us. And actually, as I said, there was a lot of propaganda and a lot of kind of false headlines and shame. And shame is a really awful disease in itself, and when people are shamed or they're made to feel bad about themselves, it leads to, really difficult times for people. So I think that all of that creates, situations and I feel very thankful now, and I feel very thankful that I'm in a situation where I do have a good relationship with them. It's probably a really long answer, but I guess that is kind of the background really, and it probably took, I would say, really into my 20s and early 30s to really get comfortable with myself, and I'm probably still on that journey. I think, as I said, you know, when you are young and you're queer and you are coming to terms with your sexuality, maybe not for the generation now that are doing that, but for my generation, I think there was a lot of stigma and shame, and the generations before, that was associated. And I think that you internalize that, and it kind of shapes who you are and how you see yourself. And it takes a lot to kind of get rid of that. So I feel thankful that that's kind of happening for me now, but it has been quite a journey at times, I would say, definitely.
You said something very interesting and important as well. You said about your the parents; they were literally worried about you, and I totally understand. Sometimes we don't understand very well our parents, because in the end of the day, they are worried about us. They care about us, and sometimes they know the world outside the society can be very difficult, hard on us. And so I think at the end of the day, they need to be, of course, they're going to be educated. They take their time as well. Sometimes they take their time to understand everything there, because it's a big picture they need to understand. But in the end of the day, deep inside, what's the thing that they're more worried about is about us being safe. They're about being accepted in society and all of that. As you said about the government, you know, everything was spread out there about AIDS, about gay people, so all connected. So yeah, of course, it can be scary as well. And at the time, people, they're not prepared. They're not prepared for that. To get information, and affected a lot of families who had, gay children or everything, because they didn't know what was happening. And not just children, but teenagers and adults as well. So yeah, I understand your point.
I think as well now, and what I hope is, and I think definitely are seeing it, is that because of the generations that are coming through now, like if I think about my niece and nephew, they've only ever known us to have two uncles, and they've actually got two elder uncles who are in their 80s now, actually, who have been together for 50 odd years. You know, they were together at a time where you couldn't be together, and they were trailblazers, you know, for our community. So they've always known this within the family. So when they have children, or, you know, they speak to their friends, again, there's different conversations being had now. And of course, you would always get homophobia, the same as you'll always get racism, the same as you'll always get, you know, ableism, discrimination and things. But and obviously that all needs to be stopped, and that's a really important thing. We need equality for everyone. But I think that hopefully, as the world changes and we have new generations up and coming, the conversations of the past stop, because people are seeing things in a different way. And hopefully, like with the podcast, people listen to it and they see things from a different perspective.
I had a guest, a lovely guest on the show from Texas, and he's a gay dad. He has a daughter that now she's going to college now, and he said to me, William, when she was like a child, I was going to school sometimes for parents meeting, and was open. Everyone was like, his daughter was brought up as like a normal thing, and she was at school, and he was with other parents as well. And one of his daughter's friends said to his dad in front of him, said, "Oh, I would like to have two dads as well." And he was like, "It's not going to be possible," because but you see, he was telling me about it, and I felt so it was amazing to hear that, saying, nowadays people, they're more and more understanding, it's more and more something like normal. There's people they are talking about, people they are spreading. So that's a good point.
Absolutely.
Next question for you is,
yes,
what is your favorite kitchen smell?
Kitchen smell?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good question. I have two. Okay, so, and it's really funny. So whenever my husband's cooking something, he, like, say we're doing like a risotto. I could talk about food all day, by the way. He'll put like onions and butter in the pan or something, and the smell. And I go, "Wow, that smells amazing!" And he goes, "It's only onions." I'm like, "Yeah, but it smells really good." And a roast chicken in the oven as well, with like garlic and lemon and thyme and potatoes, and all really good. Yeah, that's probably my two favourite smells, I would say. And also fish and chips. I do quite like walking past the fish and chip shop. that evokes memories of my childhood. My nan used to take me to the chip shop and buy us chips and things in a school holiday. So that it's quite nostalgic for me to have that memory.
Amazing. 3 questions left for you, okay? And
okay,
let's do it.
Do this.
Right. Next question for you is,
Okay.
if you could go back in time, in one moment or memory in your life, what that would be and why? You know?
Do you know what? Actually, this just popped in my head, and I will say it. So tonight, I was really lucky to speak to two really special people, two of my godchildren, and I've not spoken to them for a long time because life happens, and they're getting older, and we've got busy lives, and all that kind of stuff. And they lost their mum when they were really small. So my best friend passed away, and we were just talking about her, and I had a nice conversation with them about their mum, and I said, if you ever need to ask me anything about your mum, or you want to know all the stories, what we got up to when we were kids, I'd love to talk to you about it sometime. And I think I would probably go back and have an evening with my friend, have a glass of wine, and just kind of appreciate that friendship. And because I've not had it now for 15 years, and life is normal again, and but just talking about her tonight, she was a special person. So I think I would probably go back and have a glass of wine and a good chat with her and put the world to rights. And yeah, that would be good.
Oh, whatever she's right now, she's gonna be very happy to know that.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. She'll probably be like, oh, for goodness sake, don't even worry about it. She was a very relaxed person. She's probably like, oh, pick something else. But no, that would be a nice thing to do. That would be really lovely.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
2 questions left.
Okay. Moves. I love this whole arm thing going on.
Before the next question, tell me, as I can see, of course, how much you enjoy and you are happy in Brighton. But so far, is there any challenge thing about living in Brighton, in your opinion?
My bank balance doesn't look very healthy because I'm going out too much and having fun. That's probably the challenge. No, do you know what? No, not really. I have to say, touch wood, I'm very lucky. I don't feel there has really been a challenge. The whole process, even like moving here, the decision to do it, selling our house, moving here, finding somewhere to live, it was all effortless. So I think sometimes when stuff like that happens, it's just almost a bit of a sign, isn't it? It's like, okay, this was meant to be. So yeah, I would say there's nothing really. Bank balance probably is the one thing. Yeah. I need to stop going out. Hence, I'm ready to go out again though tonight. I'm like, oh well, it's fine. We'll just do it.
Next question for you is, which question you wouldn't have an answer for?
What questions? Oh wow. How life's going to turn out, I guess.
Good one.
Yeah, I mean, I again, this is a thing that I'm trying to learn. So I'll let you into a little secret. So I like to control things. I like to have a plan and know what's going on and all that kind of stuff. And my husband is the opposite. He's like, can we just live for now and not worry about what's going to happen? And I've met this really lovely guy here called Yorel, who is one of my absolute favorite people in the world. And he's 22 and he's from Spain, and he moved here by himself during COVID. And he's just awesome. I've got so much respect for what he's done in his journey. And he's very much the same. He's like, darling, we don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks. Let's just live for now. And I'm saying to him, do you want to come around for Christmas this year? And he's like, that's December. We're in May. Let's not even talk about that, So it's people like that are making me think differently. So I think that's probably relates to the answer, is actually, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's just try and enjoy the moment.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Andrew, ready for the last one?
Yay.
Last question. Let's do it.
Okay.
Right, but before the last question, what people can expect from your podcast? What people gonna, they're gonna listen to it? What they're gonna get? What's the catch of the podcast? What they're gonna enjoy to listen to it?
So I'm speaking to some really diverse people. So I'm speaking to some drag queens. I'm speaking to an author, a couple of musicians, a radio presenter, and a business owner, a voiceover artist. There's some, basically, we are celebrating queer artists in Brighton. So it's all about celebration of our queerness, but also the artistry of these people as well. So I think they're going to learn about the people, they're going to learn about their art, they're going to hear about their queer journeys and their experiences. we're going to talk about allyship and how we can all be better allies to each other and why it's important to have each other's backs and support each other in our community and generally in the world. And also there's some fun too. So I think that people hopefully are going to get some education, some interesting conversations, and just a feel-good hour. Like, I really wanted it to be something where you could go to the beach or sit in the garden having a glass of wine and put it on and just feel that you're just absorbed for an hour. And I think that based on the conversations that I've had, I'm really kind of achieving that. So that's really, really cool. But yeah, I just love it. I love it so much. It's so much fun to make, and the guests have been incredible. And also they've given up their time. You know, they've not charged me for their time. They've given up their time freely, and they've come along and been so open with me with the conversation. So that's just lovely.
Here I am. Listen to it. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's on all the podcast platforms. So Spotify, Apple, Acast is the podcast platform that I'm using. But there's loads of links in my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, and my handle is @Flewitt actually. So if people want to check it out, they can have a little look. And maybe you could put the link to my Insta in your comments as well. That'd be fab. Thank you.
Amazing. Last question for you is, what makes you most uncomfortable about yourself?
I don't like getting things wrong. So if I say the wrong thing or something doesn't go right, I can be quite hard on myself, I would say. And that makes me feel uncomfortable. So I'm trying to learn to be a bit kinder to myself, because I think we're all probably quite tough on ourselves, aren't we? So yeah, I would say that probably makes me the most uncomfortable. Just not doing things or things not turning out as I would have hoped. But you know, down the line, you kind of realize sometimes there's lessons in those situations, don't you? So yeah.
I think sometimes we need to get the habit of looking in the mirror and go like, you know what, you are doing well. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
We should have this habit of doing that, and it makes a difference in our lives.
We're all learning, aren't we? And do you think as well, like, you know, and again, I know we all use social media and it's such a good tool and platform for us all to use, but you view so many people's lives on there as just like picture perfect kind of scenarios, and that's not real life. And I think
there's no perfection. There's no perfection. That's why social media sells, not a perfection, but they're not so perfection at all.
No, absolutely. I think as you say, be kinder to ourselves. That's a really, really good thing. Definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, Andrew, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like. Don't forget to share this video. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Friends.
One word for money.
Oh, moolah.
Ooh. Love.
Happiness.
Life.
Live it. That's two words.
That's okay. One word for sex.
Ooh. Fun.
Politics.
Tricky.
Religion.
Tricky.
Fear.
Crippling.
Friendship.
Important.
One word for desire.
Or 2 words. Embrace it.
Okay. Regret.
Wasted.
Success.
Is what you make it. Sorry, that's more than one word.
That's okay. One word for passion.
Intense.
One word for wish.
For a wish.
Yeah.
Hope.
Happiness.
Aspirational.
One word for Brighton.
Queer.
I like that.
Yeah.
One word for England.
Diverse.
One word for Queer I Am podcast.
Proud.
Amazing.
I'm super proud. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank
Let's
you.
pretend now I'm gonna get a train. I'm gonna go all the way to Brighton now for a coffee with your husband, and I'm going to ask him, what is the most beautiful thing about Andrew, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What your husband say?
Oh wow. Oh my God, this is a tricky one. Gosh, you're good. These are really good questions. I think he would say that I'm fun and loving. It's two things. And work on, probably I need to listen more. I don't always listen, and that's pretty bad because I'm a podcast host. But sometimes I get a bit kind of like carried away and like, yeah, that's something that he'd probably say that I need to listen a bit more. Give him some airspace, so
Amazing.
Airtime rather. Yeah.
Great. Let's play now, Andrew, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time.
Okay.
Okay, Andrew from Brighton, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. What would you describe as the single most perfect moment in your life so far?
The single perfect moment in my life so far?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The first thing that came to my mind, and I'm going to tell you now, the first lockdown, I think all of us, we were in a place where we didn't know what was happening. The whole world was stopping. Everything was getting in a place that the uncertainty, no one knew what was happening. It was scary. So all of us, I'm sure all of us, we went through some tough times, like mental health. Everyone was bit. But saying that, at the same time as well, I strongly believe that people, as you mentioned before, they got very creative. There was some creativity hidden in places that if we didn't go through that, maybe we wouldn't find easily that creativity. I went for I love sports, I love running, and I'm sure you remember that you could leave the house for, I think, 1 hour, 2 hours for exercise. Remember the first lockdown? Mm-hmm. So I was going in the afternoon for a run in the park, like I was running the park. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was thinking maybe doing something creative on YouTube, something that I could, enjoy and find myself. And I never forget the moment I was running the park, and I was thinking about life, about, career, about everything. And this idea came along, literally. This moment came along. It was a very special moment. And I remember exactly the place, exactly the time, because it was so powerful. I even stopped for a little bit. I was like, oh my goodness, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to, to create. Saying that, I've been doing that for all my life, like asking those random questions with friends, going, when I go to barbecues, this and that. But answer to your question, Andrew, I would say that moment when, literally I was running and this idea, I was lost in my thoughts, thinking about a lot of things. Mm-hmm. It was a bit dark place as well because, uncertainty, but this idea came along, and I'm so grateful for that moment because it was a moment that, it makes me nowadays enjoy my life more than ever because I'm doing something that I go to bed thinking about. I'm sure you know that as well. I go to bed, I wake up, everything I do in my life is about thinking about the magic box.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's the moment that was very special, this moment that I'll never forget. And it's sometimes the big message I took out of this moment was sometimes when you're going through dark times, take it, understand why you're going through that. Don't fight against it because it's part of the journey as well. And through this dark time, sometimes there's a light there, something gonna come out of this dark side. And I can say that because at the time I wasn't feeling a good place. And here I am, like enjoying something that came out of this challenge moment. And it was a moment, so it was literally a moment. So yeah, that's my answer to you.
That's amazing. And I think that there's probably been so many people in that situation, haven't they, that, went through that tough time. I mean, it was such a tough time. COVID was, I lost a family member. I know other people that have lost family members from COVID. We couldn't see our friends and family. We were in this place where, everything was just, all you could think about was what was happening. And then, you have these moments where you say, as you say, you then get inspiration. And I think you're right. Sometimes we we want to, as humans, we want to fight off the dark moments, don't we? We want to kind of go away. I don't want to think about this. And actually, those moments make you evolve and change and grow. And it's hard to know that at the time, but when you look back, you kind of go, wow, thank goodness that happened. You know, you have to be grateful, don't you? It's just, you know, the dark moments they're not always easy, but they can be really helpful.
And they're so necessary as well. It's necessary.
Yeah.
Imagine if everything was flowers, sky, beautiful. You wouldn't learn anything. So everything, those tough times, they are necessary. And you always should be grateful for those. As you said, sometimes we don't see the message straight away, but in the future, you're going to look back and go like, you know what?
Absolutely.
Now I understand why I went through that. And you feel thankful, you feel grateful for that. So it's all part of the journey.
Absolutely.
Like roller coaster, up and down. And that's what makes life spicy. That's what makes life beautiful and enjoyable as well. That's what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Andrew, did you have a good time?
This has been amazing. I'm so glad that I did it. And thank you so much for, I don't know how we met on Facebook. Was it like a chance meeting or something? I think like a follow or you followed one of my other friends or?
Yeah, some you know, somehow Facebook, they suggest friends. Yeah, like because there is connection, something. So that's how I saw your profile and I literally felt like invited you. And I'm so glad. Yes. I'm so glad that you connected during this time, this period of your life. That's something big coming out now in your life.
Thank you.
It couldn't come in a better time. I think it's, I'm so grateful. When you said about your podcast coming out, like, oh my God, that's amazing. I can't wait to talk to him about it, to see his eyes shining. And it's, I think it happened the right time. So good luck for you. Like,
Thank you.
Really gonna go to it's gonna come even more thing that you're not expecting because you are doing with passion, you are doing with something that's the thing. Yes, I'm sure. And I have no
big
doubts.
Congratulations to you too, because this is amazing. It's so cool, and you're putting so much into this. Like you have them coming out daily. It's amazing. So really big congratulations to you for putting all the work in, and it's so much fun. I love it.
So before you go, if you can share just a positive message or a positive quote, something that you live by.
I think for me now it just is enjoy your life. You know, we get one shot, and I think we all live our lives and worry about stuff and focus on the small things and try have everything kind of perfect because we think that's the way to live, but nothing's guaranteed. And I don't know, I just think, you know, I'm not, this isn't perfection for me. I'm really trying to live by this. But I think that's probably my hope for myself and for others is just enjoy every day and try and find something every day that you feel good about, you know, because life can be really amazing. It can be hard, but it can be really great. So yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to do now, and I'd encourage others to as well.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Regards to your husband, and enjoy your quiz night. Say hello to your friends, okay?
Yes, I will do. Yes, and I'll share your profile and get other people to come and speak to you as well. It's been amazing.
Please, yeah. The doors are open. Just let me know, and I'll be honored to have them on the show as well. Okay?
Will do. Take care, William. Cheers.
Take care. Good night.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.